Hello everyone and welcome to a video assignment for the course Artificial Intelligence Foundations and Applications. I am Anjali Raj and my group members are Raj Krishan Ghosh and Sudeep Kumar Bhattacharya. The topic is the best for search in game trees. These are the contents that will be discussed in the video, and I'll mostly be focusing on the importance of heuristics in search trees. So let's get started with it. The search algorithm. There exist problems that can be solved using the search strategy. So once the problems is formulated, we need to solve them. And the solution is an action sequence. So search algorithms works by considering various possible action sequences. Now the search algorithms, there are of types uninformed search and the informed search. All the searching algorithms basically share the same structure. However, they differ primarily on what state they expand next. That is the search strategy. So in uninformed search, we are given no information other than the problem definition. However, in the informed search, the decision of the next node to be expanded is based on some information. So this is the primary difference between the uninformed search and the informed search. The different types of informed search are the breadth first search, the depth first search, the depth limited search, the iterative deepening search, and so on. And the informed search consists of the best first search and its variants, and among which A-star search is the most well-known informed search. Now let me give some idea about the different search strategies. Starting with the breadth first search. It is a very simple strategy where the root node is first explored and then the successors of the root nodes are explored and then their successors are explored. In this way, we expand at a given depth in the search tree before any nodes at the next level are expanded. Coming to the depth first search, in the depth first search, always the deepest nodes are expanded. That is, the search proceeds to the deepest level of the search tree, where the nodes have no successors, and then these nodes are dropped. So then the search backs up to the next deepest node that still has unexplored successors. The depth limited search assumes that they have no further successors to be explored after reaching a depth D, and so on. In best first search, a node is selected for expansion based on an evaluation function. The evaluation function is a cost estimate. So, the node with the lowest evaluation is expanded first. Most best first algorithms include a component called the heuristic function, which gives us the estimated cost of the cheapest path from the state at the node to a goal state. For the goal node, the heuristic is always 0, the heuristic function. And the most widely known form of the best first search, as I already said, is the A-star search algorithm. And these two algorithms will be explained in more detail in the upcoming slides. Next is, how do we decide which state is more closer to the goal state? Consider a 15 puzzle game as shown in the figure where we have two states A and B. These two states are nothing but the position of the board. So now we need to find out whether state A is close to the goal state or state B is close to the goal state. So how do we find this? So we need an estimate about the minimum distance of the state from the goal state in order to identify which of the states is closer to the goal state. So the two heuristics that can work here for us is Manhattan distance and the other is the number of misplaced tiles. Now how do we calculate the Manhattan distance? So first we calculate the Manhattan distance between the state A and the goal state. So in state A, if we move 10 here, 11 here and 15 here, state A will map exactly on the goal state. So if we move 10 by 1 square towards the left, 11 1 square upwards, and 15 1 squares towards the right, we get a total of 3 squares Manhattan distance. Now looking at state B, so here if we move 8 here and 12 here, then in a total of 2 squares we can reach the goal state. The next heuristic that can be used is the number of misplaced tiles. So again, when we see the state A and the goal state, we see that 10, 11 and 15, that is the encircled numbers, are actually the misplaced tiles on the board. And in state B, 8 and 12. So here total of 3 tiles are misplaced, and in state B total of 2 tiles are misplaced. So now we see how to be estimating using heuristics. So heuristics are the estimates of the minimum cost from any vertex to the goal node. So if we consider a tic-tac-toe game, the most win heuristic is the 4-win heuristic because it has the effective branching factor closer to 1 as compared to this 3-win and 2-win. Next is how do we design an admissible heuristic. There are basically two ways to design an admissible heuristic. The first one is using a relaxed problem. So a relaxed problem is one which has a less number of constraints. And in this we can test the heuristics over the relaxed problems. Also it should never overestimate. Since it is a heuristic, it has to be admissible heuristic. It should always be an underestimate and never an overestimate. The next way we can do is using the learning models. That is, we can play games and learn the heuristic function using the learning models. That's all from my side. Thank you. Rajkishan will take over from here.
Thank you, Anjali. Hello everyone, my name is Rajkishan Ghosh and I will first discuss some concepts related to best first search and then move on to game tree concepts. So what is greedy BFS? Well, instead of expanding the whole tree and looking for the best solution, which is computationally intensive, in greedy BFS approach, at any node we look at the immediate children, and depending on the costs associated with the children, we choose the child node having the least cost. Thus, we only look at a single depth for cost at a node and make greedy advances towards the goal. In this example, the immediate children for the leftmost node are the nodes with a cost of 2 and 1. While using greedy BFS, the node with the cost of 1 is taken for path propagation without any considerations to further nodes. As the path is propagated further, we see that if X defines the goal node, then after only 2 more nodes, the chosen path actually is more costly than the other path option. Further, the goal node also takes longer to achieve. Thus, though greedy BFS is computationally less intensive, it does not guarantee the shortest path. The disadvantages of greedy BFS are summarized as follows. The greedy BFS is not optimal, meaning that shortest path is not guaranteed to be found. Also, greedy BFS algorithm may get stuck in an infinite path and is therefore incomplete. Finally, the worst case time complexity or space complexity is of the order of b raised to the power m, where b is the branching factor of the graph and m is the maximum depth of the search space. Next, we come to the A star algorithm of best first search. In this algorithm, we evaluate a node n on the basis of evaluation function fn, where fn is given by gn plus hn. What are gn and hn? Well, gn is the path cost from start node to the given node n, and hn is the estimated cost of best path through this node n. Say for example, we take the previous scenario. Here, the overall cost of the path at each node is the sum of the cost from start to the node and estimated path cost from the node to goal. So for the root node, the value of Gn is 0 and the cost of Hn, that is the estimate written on the node in the top figure, is 3. Thus the value of Fn at the root node is 3. For the immediate upper child node, the path length from the root node is 1 and the estimate cost is 2. Therefore the value of Fn at this node is 1 plus 2, and that is 3. Similarly, we can calculate the Fn values at other nodes. We can then get the solution by backpropagation. Now let us explain what a game tree is. Basically, it is a state space representation of a game. It is a directed graph where the positions in a game are represented by nodes and available moves are represented by edges. Let us look at some terminologies. One round having turns taken by each player once is called a move, whereas a single turn taken is called a ply. For example, in a game of chess, a black turn and a white turn together is a move, whereas only a black turn is a ply. The branching factor is the average number of children of the nodes of the tree. The depth at any node is one less than the levels of the game tree up to which it has been expanded. Here in this example, the first player has 9 choices for putting an X, out of which only 3 are shown. At the next depth, each of the 9 choices by player 1 can be replied by 8 choices of player 2. As shown in the example, turn of a single player is called a ply, whereas turns taken one each by both players together is called a move. The branching factor B for chess is 35 and the average depth to which the game continues is 100. Therefore, the generated nodes are 35 raised to the power 100, which comes out to be 10 raised to the power 154 in decimal number system. Similarly, the number of nodes for some other games are also given. Clearly, the number of nodes is very large and often impractical to store. Here, we will focus on games like chess, Go and tic-tac-toe, which are two-player games. Perfect information, meaning every player has all the information about the game at any given time, and zero-sum games, meaning if one player loses then the other player wins, and overall there is no win or loss excess. Though we only discuss games as an application of game trees, but game tree search have also been used in other areas like drug discovery and economical modeling. When exploring up to only a finite level in searches, often we come across a problem, namely the horizon effect. Here the program can't see beyond the specified level, and a move which is good in short-term gains but ultimately results in a lost match is often taken. Only taking a few depth steps is important for space and time considerations for the program, but may lead to wrong solutions. Now, the next part will be discussed by Sudeep sir, where he talks more about game tree searches and explain various algorithms. Thank you very much.
This section of the video discusses about the various best first search techniques in game tree. This part will discuss about what are the algorithms that perform a best first search over a game tree and their complexities, and we will also discuss a small case study of the IBM Deep Blue supercomputer that defeated the world champion in 1997. Best first search in game trees. The background work in game tree search dates back to the early part of the 20th century. A very famous paper by Shannon in 1950 describes what could have been the possible approaches to play game like chess by machines. The basic idea of game tree search is that expanding the complete game tree is not practical because of the high branching factor and the depth of the game. A common game of like chess has a branching factor of about 35 and with a depth of about 100 plies. So the idea is to expand the tree only up to some depth. The depth can be fixed depth or it can be variable depending upon the algorithm. There have been pros and cons of both the techniques. Once we expand the game tree, then we evaluate the leaf nodes for their goodness values. And the goodness value of a leaf node is described by the score given by a static evaluation function. The static evaluation function takes into consideration a lot of heuristics and the different characteristics of the board, the configuration of the board. After calculating the static evaluation function, the best leaf till that point is picked up. Since some of the games also have time constraints, so the program should always be ready with the best move till now, because in case we run out of time, then we should have one of the best moves for the next turn. In some cases, it is required to expand some of the nodes of the tree to some extended depth. Search algorithm for games have been classified into fixed depth or variable depth. There are a lot of fixed depth algorithms like alpha beta pruning, fixed and dynamic node ordering, SSS star, scout, nega scout, aspiration window. These are more or less based on the minimax game tree search algorithm. On the variable depth side, we have B star, min max approximation, meta greedy search, and a very famous algorithm called a singular extension. The minimax algorithm is one of the fundamental works of game tree search. The basic idea is to generate the game to the terminal states, basically generate the entire game tree, and then apply the utility function to the terminal states, and then select the best payoff child node depending upon whether we are into the max level or we are at the min level. And after selecting the best leaf, this score is then propagated up to the root. This technique is perfect for deterministic perfect information games, but it takes computationally it's very costly, because the time and space complexity is given by branching factor raised to the power depth. For a game like chess, where the branching factor is 35 and the depth is 100, this is computationally a very impractical idea. In this picture, you can see that the working of the minimax algorithm have been explained. Look at this node. This is a max level node, so this will pick up the maximum value out of its two children, and the maximum value here is 2. And this one is a min node, and this will tend to pick up the minimum value of its two child nodes, and this here it is -1. The fundamental minimax algorithm is computationally very intensive, and it's very expensive to create such a tree. So we have better pruning techniques over minimax. One of the techniques is known as alpha beta pruning. It's basically improvisation of minimax, and the basic idea here is to prune off some branches, some parts of the tree, and this pruning off is based on the principle that if we already have something that is better than what we can get from expanding some other branch, then it is better not to expand that branch, because we already have a better move than that. This saves a lot of computational time and memory, and it has been seen in experiments that alpha beta pruning has really given some good results. In this picture, you can see that how the alpha beta pruning techniques works. The nodes which are encircled are actually the nodes that will never be expanded, because we have better moves, and it does not matter whether we are expanding these moves or not. So alpha beta pruning helps to decrease the computational time of the game tree search. The alpha beta pruning technique does not affect in the final result. It only helps to keeps the complexity to certain limits, and a lot of the performance of alpha beta pruning depends a lot on the ordering of the moves. A good ordering will ensure that a lot of branches are pruned off. The complexity of alpha beta pruning with perfect node ordering has been found to be the branching factor raised to the power depth by 2. Apart from the searching technique that used iterative deepening alpha beta minimax algorithm supported by transposition tables and singular extensions, it also had a 400 position opening book and a database of 700,000 grandmaster moves. And this type of database supported the support of database helped to avoid search in a lot of conditions. 30 billion positions per move were searched with average depth of 14. IBM Deep Blue eventually defeated Garry Kasparov in a six game match.